Did influential Massachusetts Congressman Barney and Connecticut Senator Chris Dodd turn a blind eye to reforming Fannie and Freddie, which both had to get bailed out? Joining us right now, we've got Al Hubbard, the former chief economist, economic advisor to President George Herbert Walker Bush, joining us live from Indianapolis. Good morning to you, Al.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing okay. Chris Dodd, the Democratic chairman there in the Senate Banking Committee, said a couple of days ago on Bloomberg television, I have a lot of questions about where this administration was over the last 8 years. Al, it's pretty clear the administration had been trying to clean up Fannie and Freddie, while guys like Dodd and Frank said there's no problem there.
That's exactly right. The president, starting in 2002, worked to reform Fannie and Freddie to deal with the systemic risks that existed in their balance sheets because they held $1.5 trillion of securities, and everyone from Alan Greenspan, from Larry Summers, who was the Treasury Secretary under Bill Clinton, to the Treasury Secretaries under President Bush, all recognized that this was a gigantic problem. It was a ticking time bomb that needed to be addressed. We worked with at the time, Chairman Shelby in the Senate, and with John Sununu and Chuck Hagel and Elizabeth Dole and others to reform this. The House passed reform legislation. Barney Frank opposed it. Chris Dodd stopped it in the Senate, and others. And you know what's interesting to look at is, to whom were the Fannie and Freddie giving their political dollars? Number one was Chris Dodd. Number two, I think, was John Kerry. Number three, by the way, was Barack Obama. And this is a 10-year number, and Barack Obama was number three. And he was only in the Senate. He's only been in the Senate for 4 years.
Al, but wait a second. What do you say to people listening right now and say for 6 years the Republicans had the majority in the Senate, or for most of those years before the Democrats took over? Why wasn't something passed then?
Well, that's a very good question. You know, our founders made it where you need 60 votes in the Senate to pass legislation. So that means a minority and can stop legislation, and that's what Chris Dodd was able to do.
It's interesting yesterday what happened was, and it looked, you could tell a little before the final vote was taken that the Democrats simply didn't have enough votes there. And Al, you've worked up on Capitol Hill with the lawmakers. You know when people make big mistakes. Just before the vote, Nancy Pelosi went up and beat up the Republican Party, and then she was asking for the Republicans to vote for it. And as it turns out, she lost because tons of her own Democrats, tons on the banking committee, said, no, we don't go along with it either, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, that was very, I cannot figure out, you know, I have enormous respect for her talents, and she's a very powerful speaker, and I am just surprised she did what she did, because it is, getting this bill passed is absolutely critical. I believe that it will get passed because we have no other alternative, and the stock market and the credit markets certainly showed us that yesterday. So they've got to come back together.
But they're not showing they're not showing us that today. So far, the futures are up.
Well, okay, the future. Look at what LIBOR ran up to yesterday, to 6.88%, and it should be at 2%. You know, we have to deal with this problem, and by the way, this is going to, if we don't deal with it, it's going to impact everyday Americans. I live in Indianapolis. It's going to impact people out here. It's already impacting people out here. When I talk to my friends, other small business people, you know, credit is drying up, and eventually it's going to get to people buying things on their credit cards. You know, we are an economy that buys things on credit. We buy our homes, our cars, our appliances, and that's why this credit freeze-up needs to be addressed. And what's proposed, no one likes what's proposed, but it's the best that we've been able to come up with, and I think it will, I'm confident it will deal with the problem, because what we're doing.
Maybe we get through that Thursday. Al Hubbard, thank you. Always great to talk to you.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, you said Thursday because the House in adjournment right now for Rosh Hashanah.